we'll just introduce you, Wes, and you can get going, right? As we've got 17 on the call just now. So, guys, this is Wes Wolf, and Wes was assistant coach at Erie Otters, and he's now at what's the club you're at now, Wes?
The Coburg Cougars.
Coburg Cougars. That's the OGHL, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
OGHL, and he's now the head coach of that organisation. So Wes is going to give us a presentation on puck acquisition and body protection. So I think we're all really looking forward to it, Wes. So I think we'll just hand over to you, Wes, and let you get going, if that's okay.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for having me, and again, apologies for the mix-up. But I'm glad I was able to get on here, and you guys hung around. So as Martin mentioned, since 2016-17 up until the pandemic, I was the assistant coach for the Erie Otters in the Ontario Hockey League. Had the great fortune of coaching a number of players who moved on to the National Hockey League, including Alex DeBrincat and Dylan Strome with Chicago Blackhawks, Warren Fogle with the Carolina Hurricanes, Anthony Cirelli and Eric Chernak with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and most recently Jamie Drysdale, who's with the Anaheim Ducks in his rookie season. So very, very fortunate to have that opportunity. We won a championship in 2017. Most recently, I took a job 1 month ago with the Coburg Cougars in the Ontario Junior Hockey League. So one step down in league from the OHL, but obviously in the role of head coach. So this particular presentation is actually one that I gave to our players initially in Erie about puck acquisition, as Martin mentioned. And so in the name of coach development, I've kind of turned it into more of a development from a coaching side of things. So I'll get right into it, and there are video clips, but I figured I'd start first with a little bit of the theory behind puck acquisition, and then more specifically body positioning as it relates to getting the puck. So this was a survey that I had sent out to the forwards on the Otters this past year. Do you feel like you get the puck enough in a game? And I think it's a valid question. When we look at hockey players on the whole, I think it's safe to say, everyone feels like they can get the puck more. So on the left side, this was the responses of the forwards of that team. And 10 out of 12 said no. And that was not surprising to me. As I mentioned, I think most players feel like they can get the puck more. Interestingly enough, I had a poll. I'd been working the past year during the pandemic with a U14 team and asked them the same question. And 10 out of 12 said yes, which I found very curious because when you watch, a U14 game compared to a high level major junior game, usually the best players are the ones who have the puck the entire time. And so just based on eye test alone, I would say that at the younger ages, more often than not, the most dominant players are the ones who have the puck the whole time. And that's not necessarily the case when you watch an elite level game. And when we look at elite players, like this was actually a quote from Elliot Friedman's 31 Thoughts about a month ago. And I thought it was really relevant about this discussion about getting the puck. And Elliot was interviewing Landon Ferraro about his D partner, Brent Burns, who he knows is an elite player in the NHL. And he said, basically the one thing about Brent Burns is a common request: get the puck to me, get the puck over. I don't care if, it's in the air, 3 feet or in my feet, just, get me the puck. And I think that's really how most players feel, is get them the puck. What's more interesting when we dive a little bit deeper is why players feel like they don't get the puck enough. And these are actually the answers from the U14 team. And I highlighted in green ones that I thought were especially interesting. I don't play with the puck enough because I need to be more aggressive. I need to move my feet more. I need to create open space for myself. Sometimes I'm out of position. These are things that I think, when we look at the video, more closely in terms of puck acquisition, this is where body position and puck protection can play a significant role. Those are the things that are within our control. And then another common theme was things that are outside of our control. People don't look for the centerman. People don't look for the D. The forwards are always shooting it instead of looking to pass to the D. Those things really aren't relevant to this conversation. They may be true, but I think what we want to look at is how we can control as players the ability to get the puck more through body positioning. And then these were the answers from the guys in the OHL, supporting the puck, being a better passing option, moving my feet. But I highlighted, because the answer that kept coming up with the older players is confidence. This is something that I saw, in 12 replies, I think 6 or 7 guys mentioned confidence. And confidence is a funny thing because, this particular answer, the first one, I think I'm confident when I have the puck on my stick a lot more. So it's a catch-22. We need confidence to get the puck, but in order to have confidence, we feel we need the puck. So, where is the divide? And I think this is where, as coaches, we can be a major influence in building confidence, and not through the sense of, positive affirmation and building our players up. I think we build confidence by giving them the tools to succeed on the ice. It's kind of like, a carpenter. Do you want a carpenter who comes to the job with, a hammer and a box of nails, or do you want a carpenter who comes to the job, with a level and measuring tape and every tool you could possibly need for the job? And so, in acquiring the puck, I think body position and puck protection are just more tools we can use to instill more confidence. And when we look at, puck touches on the whole, this is just some data. And I think this is important to talk about because, an average forward in 15 minutes of 5-on-5 ice will basically touch the puck 35 times. That's an average player, an average forward. 15 of them are in the O zone, and then less than 1 in 15 minutes of ice time is going to come in home plate, that area right in front of the net. That's not a lot. When we look at elite players, the best of the best, they touch the puck more than 45 times. So it's 10 more touches. But in the O zone, more than 20. And then in that home plate area right in front of the net, it's more than 3 times the amount of an average player. So even though they're only getting 10 more puck touches, they're tripling the amount in the most dangerous areas of the ice. So the question is, 2 things. One, if 34 out of 35 puck touches that we get are outside of in front of the net, what are we doing to make those touches more valuable and help set us up for success? And because elite players touch the puck more, in home plate, what things are they doing with those other touches to make them more successful? So again, what are elite players doing to acquire the puck more often? And what are elite players doing to maximize the value of their touches? That's the question that we're trying to answer. I think the first thing that we need to look at is how you frame it with your players. So improving our play without the puck, that's how you're going to get the puck more. Improving our play with the puck, that's how you're going to keep the puck when you have it. So improving our play without the puck is not attractive to most players. When we talk about defensive hockey, right, players start to check out. They don't like playing defense. But if you talk about getting the puck back instead of playing defensively or play without the puck, all of a sudden it becomes a more attractive answer to a player. They want the puck. Everyone does. We've already established that. So instead of focusing on improving our play without the puck, I think what we want to look at is improving ways that we acquire the puck back. And that's a subtle difference, but I think it makes a big difference for players. So the question is improving our play without the puck. Why do we do it? To get the puck back. And secondly, prepare ourselves for possession when it comes. So how do we do it? So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to go to my video screen now. And
Wes, just if you're sharing, you may need to tick the box that says sound just in the bottom left. When you hit share screen, see if you unshare.
Yeah.
If you stop sharing.
Okay.
Right, and you hit share. There's a small tick box down the bottom left that says share sound or share computer sound or something that says.
Yeah, I can do that.
Just so that the sound comes through as well.
Okay, so what we want to look at first is acquiring the puck and getting it. So this first set of clips is actually going to be, you know, how do we get the puck back? And these are different tools that elite players are all using to get the puck more. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this idea of a nudge, okay? And this is subtly getting into the space of our opponent. This is a 50-50 puck, okay? We don't have it yet. So what ways can we acquire the puck or ensure that we're going to get it? And the first thing is driving this outside hip, okay, and your torso through their hands or through their hip to acquire the puck, right? This nudge is very subtle, okay? It's on 50-50 races, and there's a lot of different contexts. Here's another one, okay? 50-50 puck race. Both players have an equal opportunity of getting to this puck first. But often it's the player who can establish this subtle inside body position first to enable them to then win that race to the puck, right? This is a skill that bridges the gap because sometimes our players aren't as big, they aren't as fast, okay, or they aren't as strong, but it still enables them to acquire the puck. So this is one, this defenseman is about 6 feet 2 inches tall, okay? He's about 220 pounds. This player here is a 16-year-old. He's 5'9", okay? And he's significantly lighter. On this race to the puck, okay, we immediately see he's checking his shoulder. He's establishing that inside body position inside the hands. Immediately, this defender's stick goes in the air, and it allows us to get the puck first, okay? So this is what we would call a nudge. Here's another one, 50-50 race, and just subtly taking that defender's hands away, okay, allows us to get to the puck first. And then just one more example here, okay? There's a nudge, allows us to win the puck. Okay, and this applies to all levels. This is taken from a women's professional game, okay? 50-50 race. In this level, there's no body checking allowed. There is body contact, okay? But still using that body position to get to the puck. And here's another example. It's a 50-50, okay? Nudging and then winning the puck, all right? The next one I want to look at is what we would call a seal, okay? So here's another 50-50 race. This is more in a defensive context, but here's a race to the puck between these two players. And now we're using that nudge, okay, but then sealing them off at the wall and building that space to acquire the puck. So just this 50-50 seal, okay, here's another one. Using the hip, the body, the leverage to build a wall, essentially, with your body to acquire the puck, okay? And then last one in terms of getting the puck more often, right? This is, again, a seal, surrounding the puck, building a wall, and away we go. So that's how we get the puck more to begin with. But that's not enough, okay? Because the question that we wanted to answer as it related to elite players is not just how do we get the puck more, it's how do we protect the puck when we have it and get more offense out of it. Ultimately, that's the goal of having the puck. So why do we protect the puck when we get it? Well, obviously we want to prevent our opponent from getting the puck themselves. We've established that. But the next thing is we want to improve the conditions of the puck. So once we get it, that's not enough. Okay, we have it, but then what? So the key is we want to link our possession into a sequence of multiple possessions. We want to improve the conditions that the puck is in once we get it. And that's how, if we look back at puck touches, elite players go from getting it a little bit more to getting it a lot more in the most dangerous areas. That's the link that we're trying to provide for our players by instilling confidence with body position and puck protection. So if we look at this particular clip, okay, this player does a great job of sealing and protecting the puck. But at this point, the puck is still trapped on the wall. So we've protected it, but what next is the question. So we're doing a great job protecting the puck, okay, but the puck never got off the wall, and now it's turned into a breakout for the other team. So we did a great job of protecting it, but we didn't improve the conditions, and we didn't link it into a series of possession that ended in a scoring threat, right? So here's another example, okay? We do a great job protecting the puck, okay? We're keeping it, but it's still on the wall. So now we're skating out of pressure. It's still on the wall. We're protecting the puck, okay? We're still on the wall. Nobody ever improved the conditions, and now the puck went from the offensive zone into a race going back to our end. All right, so how do we link acquiring the puck to our next most dangerous possession through body position and puck protection? So if I go back to some of these clips of the nudges, right? Here was one with the smaller player who does a great job of getting the puck, but then the next play is a giveaway. And now it's a breakout for the other team. Versus a great job, same context. We've acquired the puck by inside body position, but now we've improved the condition of the puck from being on the wall. Okay, we established body position to a player in a scoring chance inside the house. That's what we're looking to establish by using our body position. So just one more example here, okay? Using that nudge, turning it into a scoring chance with the puck. We've improved the conditions of the puck. Or if we go into a seal and surround, okay, now we've turned it into a breakout. We've improved the condition of the puck. All right, so there are some tools we have with puck protection once we've acquired the puck that can turn chances into more dangerous sequences. So the first one is what I would call cutting hands, okay? And cutting hands is similar to the nudge, but we're doing it while we have the puck now. So the first ones we looked at were pre-possession protections. Now these are possession protections. We have the puck. So the hip through the hands, cutting hands, is using that leverage with our knee bent, our hip through the hands of this defender to now bring the puck from outside the dots to the front of the net. And this one ultimately ends up in a goal. Okay, so some of the things that are key here to remember when we're coaching our players on hip through hands or cutting hands, right? The hands are ultimately, you know, everything for a hockey player. If you take their hands away, you remove their ability to make plays or take the puck away. If we get our hip through this hand, okay, now we're in a position to draw a penalty, but they're also not in a position themselves to make a play on the puck. That's what enables that scoring chance. So that's it coming on the backhand. Here's an example on the forehand, or sorry, that was forehand, this one's backhand, right? Same thing, we get the puck away from our body, we use the hip to attack the hands, and now it creates a better scoring opportunity where we've taken it from out here to right in front of the net. So now if we look at a nudge, okay, we win it, but now we're using this hip through the hands, nudging across this way to create a scoring chance. The next one I want to look at is going back to this women's hockey clip, okay? So there's a little bit of a nudge here. There's the nudge to get it. But this is what Daryl Belfry, who's a pretty prominent skills coach, has coined the term as a cane push. And basically what the player does is they turn their back to invite the pressure from behind or invite the contact, the push from behind. You want to absorb this and then use the momentum, okay, to improve the conditions of the puck. Right now, the puck's on the wall. We want to get it off the wall into a dangerous area. So we invite the pressure, okay, and it's instinct for this defender. If I take it back, the first thing most defenders will do when they receive a player's back is they get their hands up and they push, right? That's really what a lot of defenders are told is push, push, push. So now we want to invite that contact, take the push, and now we've created separation from this player to allow us to improve the condition of the puck to get it to the middle of the ice. So here's Patrick Kane, okay? He's the master of this. He's inviting the pressure. There's the push on the back, and now he's going to use that push to build momentum and create space. And now he's improved the condition of the puck from a rim on the wall to the middle of the ice, the most dangerous area, creating scoring chance, okay? And here's just one more example. Inviting this contact, you get the back, there's the push, and now you've created 4 feet of separation to get a better scoring chance going to the net, right? The next one here that we're going to look at is, going back to the hip into hands, okay? This is actually a defensive example that I wanted to show, or a back push defensively, okay? There's the hip into the hands, and then using the push on the back to create space to break out the puck. Okay, that's a great example. So we can use it on offense, but we can also use it on defense to link that into a breakout. If we go back to sealing off, okay, there's another one, back push. Now we get a 4-on-2, okay. If we go back to sealing, okay, so I go back to this clip, we talk about sealing the puck. We've got it on the wall, right? We talked about improving the conditions. What we want to do with this puck now is get it to somewhere in this area, ideally. So what I see here is a great puck acquisition and now an opportunity to create a scoring chance. But if we don't link it to the next move, now we're stuck in this situation where the puck remains outside and now we lose it, okay? So what can we do next to improve the condition of the puck? Here's one more example, just seeing it, okay? So what do? This is what I would call attacking a weak stick. So we get the puck outside. Now attacking a weak stick is similar to the hip through the hands, but we're a little bit further ahead, right? Defenders always want to go stick on puck. I think TJ may have presented on some of this defensive detail to you. So when we see this stick on puck, we want to use our knee to attack a weak stick. This player has no leverage. This stick is here to deter us from going this way, but really there's no leverage. So if we can attack through the stick, now we can improve the conditions of the puck. So here's another example. There's the weak stick, okay? Now we can attack through the weak stick and improve the condition of the puck into the middle of the ice. Weak stick, attacking through it with our body, using all of the momentum, the strength of our body to attack the weak stick, improve the condition of the puck, okay? And now it leads to a great scoring chance. If we look at, okay, I showed you examples of a nudge. This is what I would call a chuck. So now we've got the puck, all right? We see this violent motion where a player gets inside body position, but then they physically push, okay? It's not just a nudge anymore. I'll play this one back. Now we're actually chucking our opponent and creating that space for ourselves by throwing them off. Okay, here's another example. Now it's using that torso to push off and create separation, right? Here's another one. Okay, we're throwing that defender off, and now we've improved the conditions of the puck. And I think it's important to discuss, every player is different. So a nudge might be enough for a smaller player to just subtly get inside the hands. If a player is strong enough, maybe they want to chuck the guy. And then I call this a bit of a truck because this is reserved for the big boys. Okay, this guy's 6'2". Okay, it's not quite a nudge. It's not quite a chuck. It's like that reverse hit where now you're really creating that extra room for yourself. And this is, again, not something that maybe we want to teach our smaller, weaker players to do, okay? For the guys who are big enough and strong enough, they can really chuck a player off. And then again, the goal is to create that opportunity from improving the condition of the puck from the wall to getting it to the front of the net. Okay, so that's another example. I just want to show a few more. So this one would be like an open hip pivot protecting the puck. We see this skating style all the time, the 10 and 2 with the feet. Okay, that's a way to protect the puck. But the important thing is we want to try to improve the conditions of the puck. So here's, again, open hip pivot. We're protecting it, but now we're using it to protect it from this guy, get our hip through their hands, and now create a shot on goal scoring chance, right? And then there's ways to combine these things. So we have an open hip pivot. Here's the open hips. But now we want to improve the condition of the puck. Right now, we're outside the dot lane. Here's a defender. He's got good body position, so we can attempt to attack the weak stick if we want. But I think more likely we assess the scenario. Okay, even if he attacks that weak stick, there's another layer of defense. So we opt instead for going hip through the hands, and now you've improved the conditions of the puck into a scoring chance, taking it from outside the dot lane, above the tops of circles, to inside home plate. And those are the things that elite players do. Here's just one more example. All right. Open hip pivot there. And now driving that hip through the hands, attacking a weak stick, improving the conditions of the puck. So those are some ways that we can use body position and puck protection, not just to get the puck more, okay, but improve our play with the puck, right? And no presentation would be complete without showing some examples of how we can teach this in practice. So if we look in the background up here at the top of the screen, okay, here are some ways that we can implement drills into practice where we practice these skills. And this would be something that, you know, you might start a practice with at the beginning. You know, separate your players into groups, and you're going to do a day that's heavy on puck protection. So these players are just going to attack the weak stick or go hip through the hands, right? Grab a puck out of the corner, and then they're just going to do stick handling on the way back. Next players go. So it's hip through the hands, and just finish with a shot. You're warming up the goalie, but you're also working on the fundamental, right, of attacking a weak stick or getting a hip through the hands. And then obviously the fun on the way back is working on that stick handling. And this is a fundamental thing you can do with players of all ages. And you might want to add some variations where now you're doing chucks or, you know, nudges on a 50-50 puck, but it's a great way to start a practice, right? So here's now turning it into a 50-50 race. So the next thing you might do is, okay, we go into 2 lines, 2 players at each, and a puck gets spotted, and now they're working on their puck protection skills, where it's going hip through the hands. Okay, but the objective isn't just to protect it, it's to get it into good ice, all right, and protect it from their opponent. Let them go for 20 seconds. Now 2 new players go in, and we're working on those nudges. We're working on those chucks. We're working on hip through the hands. It's all puck protection, right? 20 seconds goes, they're up, next players are in. Right? And this is something that now you can turn it into more of a game situation. Once you've gone into those 2 things, you've warmed your players up, your goalies are warm, right? Now you add a little bit more stress where it's a 50-50 race to the puck, but now the objective is to try and get a shot on goal. Now we're linking the puck protection into a sequence of improving the conditions of the puck. And we're going to see a lot of great examples here. Okay, there's a hip through the hands, trying to attack the net. Off of an initial, right, I love this clip here. It's a 50-50 race like we talked about acquiring the puck more. Who's going to win it? It's the guy who establishes inside body position first. Now you get the puck. Now we can improve the conditions of it, trying to get it to the net. One more example here. John Tavares, right, using strength. Okay, hip through the hands, a little bit of razzle dazzle and skill, and then a scoring chance. Now here's ones, okay, we're going to see up at the top of the screen again. So on this side, it starts with a 50-50 race. And all that's going to happen is the player who gets the puck first, they're allowed to take it to the net. Okay, the player who doesn't, they go to the back of the line. They're not applying pressure anymore. So now it's establishing inside body position and then immediately improving the conditions. On this side, the coach is going to spot the puck. And now there's two players racing to it, but there's going to be two players who are just providing light resistance for them to fight through. Okay, so you're going to see the puck get spotted. Now it's establishing body position to win the race and trying to get it to the net. So on the other side, there's the 50-50 inside body position. The player in the yellow won the puck, so they get to take it to the net. On this side, coach spots a puck when they're done. There's the race, inside body position. Again, nudge, chuck, bump, whatever you want. But the focus is getting the puck and then improving the condition of it by getting it to the net. That's what we're looking to accomplish. Okay, so here's one more example. And we're going to see the difference in a veteran player in the National Hockey League, Duncan Keith, right? He's won a Norris Trophy. He's won multiple Stanley Cups. He's, going to be a Hall of Famer, Olympic gold medalist. And the detail that he has in his puck protection and his body position against this player at training camp who's never played an NHL game at this point. Okay, we're going to see the difference. So first is getting that hip into the hands. Little unconventional here. Okay, but it leads to a great scoring chance multiple times. So now there's a new puck. And now watch the inexperienced player. They expose the puck, go right into the stick, no hip through the hands, lose it right away. Now here's 50-50 puck, okay? Now watch. There's the hip cutting off immediately. The defender's stick goes in the air. Now you've created an advantage for yourself, scoring chance. And that's the difference, right, between elite players and non-elite players. So if we want to work on those sequences now where you're building hip into hands, right, and then looking, here's an example, open hips, cutting to the net, okay, and here's a game transfer. Here's the open hips, and then attacking a weak stick, great scoring chance. Here's practice to game transfer, another example coming up here. Okay, attacking a weak stick and then delaying. Now we're building a sequence. We've improved the conditions of the puck. Leaning in, okay. So here's that attacking a weak stick, delay. Now driving, hip through hands, improving conditions. That's how we start to build confidence. You do it in practice. You build these sequences where we're leaning into the hands, okay, absorbing pressure, improving the conditions, and then turning it into a game situation where players leaning in through the hands, delaying, okay, and using these tools that we give our players to improve the conditions of the puck. And that's kind of what I put together. So I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has, or pull up any clips or anything like that, but I'll make sure that I share those drills with Martin, so you have access to them after the fact as well.
That's great, Wes. Guys, there's not that many people on the call, guys. I think we should maybe stick up your hand and ask a question. Do they want to turn their cameras on? No? There we go, there's Scott. Lynchy, you get any questions? Unmute.
Not right now. Just guys, want to put your cameras on, if you can.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eric's at his dinner.
Here they come, slowly but surely.
Oh, it's Ian Tully. Didn't know that was Ian Tully. Just said Ian.
I've got a question.
Go on, Ross.
It was obviously when we're watching the videos there that it seemed that the smaller players probably tend to develop that sort of game smell, the technique before this are larger players? Is that's just because they've got to use that to compete? So it'd be a good sort of thing to look at smaller players in the NHL to sort of show these techniques to the kids?
Yeah, I think without a doubt, this is something that smaller players probably learn instinctively to do at the youngest ages. Like, they don't get the puck unless they do those things. And so if you look at a player that I coached as an example, Alex DeBrincat, who's an elite goal scorer, he's 5'8". Those are the types of things that he excels at and probably doesn't need anyone to tell him how to do it. But when you start to layer it, especially for a bigger player, that's where bigger players can become dominant. Like, that's a great separator for them, that if they have that detail, now they're adding those layers. But I would agree, smaller players probably do this already. The ones that don't, that's often why they have a hard time transferring, from non-contact at the youngest ages. You see the small players who are fast, skilled, they dominate. Then all of a sudden everyone gets a little bit bigger, stronger, and maybe they're not as much. It's often because they're missing this detail to bridge the gap. So if you have those types of players, this is something that they can add to layer to their game and ultimately transfer their skills as they get older, and still survive. So it's a great observation. I agree.
Okay, thanks.
So Wes, most people on the call here are junior coaches from a variety of age groups. How would you explain introducing the technique, and how would you explain introducing the process to kids that are maybe 11, 12, 13 years old, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Obviously, the last year I've had to adapt. Our team hasn't been playing at all, so I've been working with younger players, and this has sort of been my focus. And I think, one of the easiest ways to frame this is first to explain, in a game of hockey, there are going to be hundreds of races to the puck. And ultimately, it's not going to be the fastest player who wins the race all the time. And so I think some of those drills that I showed, especially towards the end, I'm going to go back, especially this drill here, where the two players are side by side and the coach is putting the puck in and they're racing to the puck. I think that the first thing and the teaching point is you want to make your first step into the other player's lane. And I think if you really slow it down and visually show how difficult it is, like you can use it and stand in the way of a player and say, get to the puck. It's a lot harder, and they can see that it's harder. So the visual of having that barrier of someone between them and the puck is often a good teaching tool. It's like, okay, now I understand why I need to do this. And then just kind of build from there and start to layer these things. And I think it's less about improving the conditions of the puck at the beginning and more about getting the puck. Worry about getting the puck first. And I think the more that we can teach how to get the puck, then you can start to build off of that. But with the younger players, 11, 12, 13-year-olds, it's using that visual of, here is why it's important to establish body position. Because if you don't, then you're giving a free lane to the puck, and you'll lose the race 100% of the time to the faster player if you're not doing it.
I think just an observation for me, these are some of the things that we should be practicing. A lot of time, we've talked about this a lot in the last couple of weeks, that we're busy practicing 5-on-0 breakouts. But instead of practicing 5-on-0 breakouts, we should be practicing at younger ages more skills development, like these types of things.
Without a doubt. I mean, even at the major junior level with 16 to 20-year-olds who are all hoping to play pro hockey, this is sort of the discussion ongoing right now, is how much time should we really be spending on those systems? Because it like a breakout, how often is it going to happen, a clean breakout in a game? You're lucky if it happens 3 or 4 times. More often than not, a breakout happens when there's a shot on goal against you, the puck goes into the corner. Now there's a 50-50 race. You need to get the puck first, Then you need to worry about what you're going to do once you get it. And there's pressure against you. So there's all these conditions that we don't see in practice that happen in a game. And it all breaks down. If you can't break out, it's because you can't pass, or it's because you don't get the puck. And we need to start first at the beginning. It's getting the puck and then worrying about what to do once we get it. And I think you have to start with those building blocks, like establishing body position, protecting the puck, and then improving the conditions of the puck, the theory behind why you do it. I think that's sort of the missing link that we're all trying to find as coaches, is to how to transfer those habits into habits into skills, and then skills into systems.
Yeah, and I think one thing, Wes, that you talked about it earlier, some kids will, and bigger or larger, will do this naturally. They'll start doing some of these things naturally, but if you can break it down and teach the other kids that don't do this naturally the techniques and the concepts, it'll be a lot better for them.
Anybody else got any questions, guys?
Wes, I was going to just ask quickly about video. So obviously in your presentation there and on your sort of playlist through SIHA, you could see that there was video to explain the theory, then there was video putting it into practice, and then game video relating from the practice. What sort of time are you spending on that, and are you sort of drip feeding that to players so as not to sort of overload them with video?
I think typically what I would do is show, I would review the video after a game. That takes a couple hours just to get the review, clip things, put notes in. And then once that's done, sort them by player and try to pick a theme for a meeting. So if I'm going to meet with a player once a week individually on video, I want to pick no more than 5 clips, and I want them all to be relating back to something similar. So I'm not going to have 15 different clips for 15 minutes and, have 10 different messages. I want to pick one message, and then that's the focus of the meeting. And the meeting will often be no more than, 3 minutes. It's very fast. Make them accessible so they can watch the clips on their own time after you've kind of walked through it. But that informal individual meeting is going to be 3 minutes to 5 minutes maximum. And it's no different with the team. It's picking your maybe 1 or 2 messages you want to deliver, but only having, I would say, 5 to 10 clips max working on whatever your concept is, but keeping the message clear and concise and not diverging and having 10 different messages. I think it's, we have this benefit of a whole season that you have time. Pick one, focus on one. And I think research shows that, after you get past the first message, it really starts to get unclear. People won't remember, especially younger players. So I would say individual meetings, 3 minutes a week, team meetings, again, once a week maximum, and keep it short, less than 10 minutes with the team. You don't need more than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else get any questions?
My question is, would you practice that on off ice? We've obviously been talking a lot of stuff about off ice, but would you do that kind of skills off ice as well as on ice?
I hadn't really considered that, but you probably could. I mean, like if you were in a gymnasium or out in a field even, there's probably ways that you can take those drills and build it into off ice habits of like cutting someone off. It's funny you mentioned that, because last night I was on a call with other coaches and someone brought up, like checking your shoulders and scanning when you're driving a car. We now have these cameras in the back, so you don't have to check your shoulders when you're backing your car up. We've become reliant on looking at the camera. And so players who are 16 to 20, they don't have that habit of looking to go back to retrieve a puck on a 50-50. So it's like this particular coach off the ice said, okay, for the next week, I want you to only back your car up without using the camera. I want you to check your shoulders, look in the mirrors, check your blind spot. And then the next time they got together a week later was showing clips on video of defensemen or forwards checking their shoulders. So it was kind of a unique way of teaching the concept of checking your shoulders or checking your blind spot, driving a car, and then relating it back to on the ice. So I would say that there probably are ways to be creative in this concept about establishing body position. And there's definitely ways you could do it. It probably hammers the message home even more.
And did all those kids have dents in the backs of their cars?
They probably did. I didn't ask.
Their mum and dad's cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we've got a question coming on the chat from Eric, who must still be tucking into dinner right now. Eric's asking, in sport in Scotland, parental influence is huge, and we have mixed messages given to players which conflicts with what coaches are telling the players. Do you have any techniques or programs to educate parents?
It's very much the same problem everywhere. You know, parental influence is obviously you know, a huge barrier for coaches. I think one thing that I hear a lot now, especially with players or coaches with youth hockey, is they encourage parents to sit in on a meeting like this, you know, virtually, if you're showing video or showing clips, to include them and allow them to watch, so that there's one, transparency in the message, but two, that they understand what you're trying to accomplish and why you're trying to accomplish it. I think it goes a long way. You know, if you're doing video with younger players, allow the parents to sit in. I know it's sort of counterintuitive, but I don't think there's much to hide. And I think more people than not do want to help reinforce the message, as long as they feel as though there's purpose behind what you're doing. You know, I've heard of coaches wearing, you know, microphones on the ice at practice so that people can hear the teaching. I think oftentimes that parental influence with a mixed message is simply because they don't know what you're trying to accomplish or what you're teaching. There are obviously those ones who think they know better, even though they know what you're teaching, you're being transparent. They think they know better for whatever reason. I don't have really an answer for that. If I did, then I'd probably be, I'd make a lot of money selling that program, getting parents to shut their mouths, but I don't think anyone's figured that one out quite just yet.
Wait, it's just looking forward to your new role, right? How much percentage of time are you going to spend doing skills development in your new team? You're now the head coach, you can determine how much time. So how much time do you think you're going to do for that? I know it's very early and you've maybe not thought about that, but what's your thoughts?
No, I have thought about it considerably. I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to skate with my new program 3 times before we headed back into a lockdown here in Ontario. But all 3 of those skates were 100% skill development. When we get into the regular season, the way that we've decided to structure it, the first person that I hired was actually a skills coach. We're going to have 1 day a week dedicated to skill development exclusively, where the skills coach is going to work with groups of 6 players at a time, smaller group, more individualized focus. And then every day at practice, we practice 4 days a week. So 1 is skills only. Then the other 3 will begin with 15 to 20 minutes of skill development. I just think it's, you know, even in the NHL, they're a development league. And especially for coaches at the junior level, youth level, you know, we have to keep in mind that our job is to develop the players. And so I think skill development should be an everyday focus. It's not like once a month, get someone to come out and work with your team, or once a week you do it. I think you need to do it every single day. There's a way to incorporate it. So a lot of the drills that I showed, like in Erie, we would start exactly the same, 20 minutes, skills, try to incorporate skills that were relevant to the theme of the practice overall, and then sort of build from there. So if we were doing zone entries or line rushes, then some of the skills at that beginning might be shooting off the rush, or shooting in stride, or puck protection entering the offensive zone. Or if you were doing breakouts that day, then the D might be working on shoulder checks and retrievals, and the forwards might be working on relevant skills, scanning and awareness. But I would say, like, for us in Coburg, like I said, it's going to be everyday skills.
Yeah. What age level is that, Wes? Is that
16 to 20.
16, 20?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think everybody else would, certainly I'm really interested in the kind of types of skill drills that you're doing, things like that. If you've got anything you can forward on, that'd be great.
Absolutely. I'm happy to send you everything I've got.
And we're hungry for material over here. We're a deprived hockey nation. Anybody else get any questions? No?
No, that looks like us.
Okay. Okay. Wes, thanks very much. Really appreciate you taking the time in the middle of your run. Thanks for doing that. Really appreciate the time. It'd be great to have you back for another presentation. I know you've got a few kind of presentations, but it'd be great to have you back. Scottish Ice Hockey would really appreciate you getting back. So really appreciate it. Nice.
Thank you. Sorry I was late. I'd be happy to come back anytime.
That's all right. Okay, guys, call it a wrap at that. Punchy, anything else?
Yeah, I think so. No, again, just on behalf of Scottish Ice Hockey, Wes, thanks very much for giving up your time. And yeah, just to reiterate what Martin says, it would be great if we could do this again sometime in the summer or something like that.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Wes, you want to hang on for a wee minute?
Sure.
Don't mind.